My name is Stefano Scopel. I'm Italian and I'm a full professor at the Department of Physics of Sogang University. I've been in Korea since 2004 and before joining Sogang University back in 2010, I worked in the Korean Institute of Advanced Studies and in Seoul National University. My research field is astroparticle physics, a discipline at the border between particle physics, cosmology, and astrophysics. In astroparticle physics, the early universe and our galaxy are used as a laboratory to study the properties of fundamental particles. In particular, my main research interest is the study of particle physics candidates to provide the mysterious dark matter that is known to dominate the gravitational mass of our galaxy, but whose nature is still completely unknown. I originally came to Korea thanks to one of my Korean collaborators, and at the time I expected to stay just a few years. However, as time passed, I eventually found better opportunities here than in other countries. Also, personal reasons played a role, since after a few years I met my wife, who is Korean. In particular, before coming to Korea, I spent 3 years in Spain. And indeed, after coming to Korea, I was actually offered a position there. However, at the time, I found that the working conditions and research opportunities offered in Korea were much better than in Spain. For instance, I remember that when I was offered a position in Sogang University, the years of experience as a postdoc were a factor in to calculate my first salary, while in Spain they would have not been considered at all. While the Korean research environment offers many opportunities, mainly due to the higher investment in research at the national level as a fraction of the GDP compared to many other countries, including most European ones, including also Italy, my native country. However, Korea is also extremely competitive, so as a consequence, my advice to an international colleague coming to Korea would be to keep focused on the quality and quantity of his or her production. In particular, keep an eye on the bibliometric parameters, such as the high impact factor papers, the number of citations, and also the proof of research leadership, which in Korea is mostly identified with corresponding authorship. Well, it's difficult to generalize, probably due to the many variables at play. The personal experience of a single research person cannot be generalized. Anyway, I would stress that in order to get one's proposal approved, it is very important to first start with smaller grants and aim at bigger ones only after developing a robust network of collaborators and an abundant literature of public results, since the past productivity will play a crucial role in the final decision. Also, probably at the beginning of one stay, in order to gain experience, it is advisable to submit joint proposals with local researchers and then try and go alone. In my experience, it's also quite common, even for very experienced Korean researchers, to get their proposal rejected. In this case, every failure is considered as an opportunity to refine the proposal, adding additional results and idea. For instance, in the case of joint proposals, adding collaborators with a robust set of published results can strengthen the project. In this sense, I had the opportunity to appreciate the extreme care for detail reached by some proposals prepared by some of my Korean collaborators. This year I was the principal investigator of the grant proposal for the Center of Quantum Spacetime, SeaQuest, a 9-year research institute involving some of my colleagues in Sogang University. Such institute had already been funded in the past under a different Korean PI, so it was the continuation of an older project. Our proposal was eventually approved by NRF, but we had already tried unsuccessfully several times with the same PI of the first funded project. I would not be able to say if the fact that this time the principal investigator was a foreigner played any role. However, our proposal was the result of a collective effort that grew and improved over the years. Every time we modified the proposal with the goal of strengthening it in every single section. I guess that this played an important role in the final evaluation. As a last consideration, in my experience, the approval rate for a specific area of research can have strong fluctuations from one year to another. So a valid proposal can be rejected simply because of bad timing. This is another reason why it can be worth revising and resubmitting a proposal after rejection. So thank you for listening. Korea is becoming more and more internationalized. Since I came to Korea, the number of foreign researchers has grown, and it's becoming more and more welcoming to foreigners. So I wish to all the people who wanted to come to Korea good work, and I'm quite sure that in the future foreign researchers will be more and more successful in Korea. Okay, thank you and goodbye.